Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dad Life. Today we're going to continue our conversation talking about the newly released Hasbro Kenner reproduction Real Ghostbuster action figures. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button once you've watched the video, and let's go ahead and discuss the different models of these things, or the different phases, I guess would be an appropriate word to use. So as you're looking at these guys here, we have 3 of the Ray Stantz figures, and each one represents a different wave of these Hasbro re-release Kenner figures. The first wave over here is the first wave that hit the United States in April. And if you notice, it says the main difference from the one next to it, which is the second wave of the figures, is that it says who you going to call above the Real Ghostbusters symbol. And this one does not. Other than that, the 2 packages are the same, except on the back, where again it says who you going to call over the Real Ghostbuster symbol. So why the difference? Well, we haven't really been told anything by Hasbro. The version where it says who you're going to call over the Real Ghostbuster symbol, that's how the original items were in the 1980s. But now we have these 2 editions, and what happened is this first wave edition, each Walmart got 1 or 2 cases depending on its size, and those sold out real fast. And then they got more cases and multiple waves of the second batch here that doesn't say who you're going to call. So the theory online in most of the forums is that who you're going to call is a trademarked word or trademarked phrase. It comes from the song Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. And in there he says, who are you going to call? And on the original packaging for the Real Ghostbuster figures, there was a note on there, letting everyone know that that was a licensed term, that it was being used with permission, and they were able to give credit to Ray Parker Jr. and his song for that phrase. Now, clearly, on the back of this one, where it says who you're going to call, it doesn't mention Ray Parker Jr., it doesn't mention his song, it doesn't give him any credit for that phrasing. So the theory is that they started printing them exactly like this, then somebody saw it, got a hold of them, and said, look, you can't do it, you got to stop. So they took that phrasing off, and you get this second wave that doesn't have that phrasing. And so it's kind of goofy that Hasbro would go through the effort and energies to reproduce these, either dig up the old molds or to create new molds for them. It would just be crazy that they went through all the effort to reproduce these things practically perfectly, in my opinion, and not get that license. But they didn't, and so now we have the 2 waves here, and this is the wave you're going to see more in the United States. Now, if you have a first wave, good for you. It is now a collector's item, because there's 2 waves and there's less of this first wave. Each Walmart got 2 or more cases of this second wave without the who you're going to call. Now, piggybacking on that, if you live outside the United States, or if you are unfortunate enough to get the Walmart pre-order, you're going to end up with the European version, or the Canadian version, or just the non-American version, where it is a little different because it has all the verbiage in 5 different languages. Both on the front here, right above the Ghostbuster in the caption box where it says, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Even on the back where it says, join the Real Ghostbusters in their ghost-chasing pursuits, it says it in 5 different languages. You also get a little piece of paper here that tells you how to use the item. So that's kind of annoying and fun all at the same time. So there ended up being 3 different waves when there probably should have only been 2 waves. There should have been an American version and a European version, but because somebody messed up and didn't get the license for the words who you going to call, they ended up with this second version that is now floating around. So again, if you have the first version, there's less of those. So it's now a collector's item. It's going to be worth getting. And if I was you and if I was a collector, I would try to get all three. Now obviously I got some of these European ones. We've discussed them in a different version or a different video. They're beat up. They're no good. They're going back to Walmart.com. But I will be on the hunt, maybe trying to trade an American version for these European versions. So it's interesting that just like the original figures where the packaging changed a little bit over time, usually condensing it, making smaller specifically for the ghosts, here you ended up almost probably by accident with 3 different waves of these figures and the way the cards look. So obviously it's going to take them some time for them to become full-on collector's pieces, but they will. Most of them are going to remain on card. I imagine less people are going to play with these than they did with the ones in the 80s. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But just want to take a couple minutes and discuss the 3 different versions of the new Kenner, Hasbro Kenner, Real Ghostbuster reproduction action figures. So we hope you enjoyed this short video. It would be nice if we can get some information from Kenner and an official story behind it. Obviously, we'll create our own folklore, we'll create our own stories, our own theories, but it would be nice to hear from Kenner and get from Hasbro, get a little information from them on what actually happened. Because look, if a mistake was made, mistake was made. It would be good to know that. But they're probably going to cover it up and they're not going to say anything. But what we're willing to bet is that it was a licensing issue that somebody just missed while they were putting all these together. But hope you like this video. Hope you like the series we've been doing on the Real Ghostbuster figures and kind of discussing all the figures and Ghostbuster stuff that's been showing up at Walmart this year. Continue to stay tuned to the Dad Life channel as we just do more product reviews. And what we want to start doing in the next week or 2 is getting into food videos. One of the other things we love here at the Dad Life is food. We like to cook it, we clearly like to eat it, and we like to share it with others. So start looking out for those different videos on different food items that we're going to start making, and we hope that you tag along and continue to help support the channel. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.